So without further ado, I'd like to introduce the first speaker. The first speaker is Dr. Mo from from Norway. And Dr. Mo is a research scientist at SINTEF, ICT. She has a PhD in information security, and she is concerned with network safety of wearable devices. I don't have to show you the slide describing how many Internet of Things or how many devices are going to be on the Internet. Since each one of them is going to be vulnerable, we can see the danger of what is coming. But she's mainly concerned with what we wear on our body. And Dr. Mo, please.
Be here today. Does the sound work? Okay, yeah. You may play the video. So I am a security researcher and I am a patient. Every single beat of my heart is generated by a medical device, a pacemaker implanted in my body. 4 years ago, I woke up lying on the floor. It turned out I had fallen because my heart had taken a break, long enough to cause unconsciousness. To keep my pulse up and to stop my heart from taking breaks, I needed to get a pacemaker implanted in my chest. This little device, it monitors each heartbeat and sends a small electrical signal directly to my heart via an electrode to keep it beating. But how can I trust my heart when it's running on proprietary code and there's no transparency? When I got the pacemaker, it was an emergency procedure. I needed the device to stay alive, so there really was no option to not have the implant. However, it was time to ask questions. To the surprise of my doctors, I started asking questions about potential security vulnerabilities in the software running on the pacemaker, and the possibilities of hacking this life-critical device. The answers were unsatisfying. My healthcare providers could not answer my technical questions about computer security, and many of them hadn't even thought about the fact that this machine inside of me is running code. And there was little technical information available from the manufacturers of the device. And this is why I decided to seek out this information myself and started a hacking project. Imagine that your heartbeat is being controlled by a machine that is running code inside of your body. Wouldn't you also like to know if it can be trusted? So this is the pacemaker. And I expect that a lot of you are not medical experts, so I'm going to play a small video to show you how the pacemaker works. If you may start the video.
Used to treat a slow heartbeat. It is about the size of a couple of stacked silver dollars and weighs approximately 17 to 25 grams. It is usually surgically placed or implanted just under the skin in the chest area. The device sends a tiny electrical pulse down a thin coated wire called a lead into your heart. This stimulates the heart to beat. These impulses are very tiny, and most people do not feel them. While the device helps your heart maintain its rhythm, it also stores information about your heart that can be retrieved by your doctor to program the device.
Did you notice those ones and zeros? at the end of the video. That's what I'm interested in knowing more about. So I did some research, and I found the technical manual of my pacemaker after I had it implanted. And I was surprised to find out that it had two different communication interfaces, wireless communication interfaces. One is the near-field communication interface that is used to program the device. So after I got the implant, it needed to be adjusted, its settings adjusted to work with my condition and my body. And then there's another longer range communication interface that can be used for home monitoring or telemetry. It means that if you have this home monitoring unit in your bedroom, for instance, it will connect wirelessly to the pacemaker once a day and collect log information from the pacemaker and send this over the internet or over the telephone line to a server at the vendor. And then there's a web interface that the healthcare providers can log into to retrieve your patient information. But can hackers break my heart? To answer this question, I decided to use the competence I have on IT security, unlike most patients that get the pacemaker at an older age. So I started a project together with some of my security researcher friends, where we tried to figure out if and how it can be hacked. How is the data generated by my own body, my own heart, secured? Is it possible for someone with malicious intent to obtain access to my implanted device remotely via its communication interfaces? These are some of the questions that I tried to figure out in my research project. Because with connectivity comes vulnerability. And as a security researcher, I'm worried because I know that our society is adopting connected technology faster than we're able to secure it. Part of the problem with doing security research in this field is that the code in my pacemaker is not available for me or other security researchers to look at. As a patient, I'm expected to just trust the vendors when they claim that their devices are not vulnerable. But as a security researcher, I want to figure out how things actually work myself. And in this case, it meant going on eBay and purchasing used medical equipment and hacking it. These are some of the pacemakers that we are looking at in our project. Several of these have been donated to me by supporters of my project, which I'm really grateful for. I am, of course, not doing testing on my own implanted pacemaker in this project. Here you can see one of the researchers in my team capturing the communication signals that are transmitted from the pacemaker. This is to find out how secure pacemakers are. We open them up and we try to find out how they're constructed and how they communicate. This type of hacking is called reverse engineering. So that means we have a finished product and we try to get into the minds of the engineers that built it, searching for vulnerabilities in their implementation. Did they make any mistakes when designing, building, or coding the software inside of the pacemaker, inside of my body? I sometimes picture the person programming the code that is running inside of my body. Did he have a good day at the office? Of course, this hacking needs to be done in a responsible manner. This means that the vulnerabilities that we find in this project will not be publicly released and disclosed before we have worked with the vendors to resolve it and find fixes to the problems. Because I do not want to scare fellow pacemaker patients from or make anybody opting out from life-saving treatments due to fears of hacking. But it is already established by previous research that pacemakers and other medical equipment can be vulnerable to hacking. It is possible to extract sensitive and personal information from pacemaker and to threaten a patient's life by turning it off or changing its pacing behavior. Fortunately, such an attack that has been proven already to be possible requires close proximity to the patient, and it could not be carried out remotely. Hacking of pacemakers through their internet connectivity, like you may have seen in popular TV shows, has not yet been proven to be possible. However, no independent research looking into this more closely has been published. Patient safety is not only threatened by actors with ill intentions. Devices can also deliver the wrong treatment because of human errors or software bugs. I'm here today to tell my story, but others do not have this opportunity. Think about that. In this case, 13 patients died because of faulty cardiac devices. In 2005, 2 doctors went public with concerns after a 21-year-old patient died when his implanted cardiac defibrillator short-circuited and failed to revive him when he went into sudden cardiac arrest. The vendor had known about this short-circuiting issue since 2002 and had made 2 attempts to fix the device, according to the court documents. But the company did not alert the medical device regulator in the US, the FDA, so that they could issue a recall. I have firsthand experienced how it feels to have my heart controlled by a machine that is not working correctly due to a software bug. Since I'm younger than most pacemaker patients, the default configuration settings were not suitable for me. And it took a few months with trial and errors and tweaking before the doctors could figure out how to get the tuning right. And this was complicated because of a software bug in the programming device that they used to adjust the settings of the pacemaker. And the consequence of this greatly affected my well-being. 2 weeks after my surgery 4 years ago, I went to London together with some of my colleagues to attend a course on ethical hacking and incident response. This was the first time I realized that something was wrong with my pacemaker. We went off the train at this underground station in Covent Garden, and there were long queues to the elevators, so we were starting to climb the stairs. As you can see from this warning sign, they do warn persons with heart conditions that they should not use the stairs because they're really long. Clearly, I did not read this sign. So I was walking up the stairs, and then suddenly I was out of breath. I felt like I could not go on. You can compare it to the feeling you get if you start running as fast as you can up a hill, and then you come to a point where you're exhausted, you can't make it anymore, except that this happened to me in an instant. And I had no idea what hit me, but I realized it must be something with my pacemaker. So after returning from my trip, I went for a checkup to see if they could figure out what was happening to me. And this is how it looks like on the hospital when the pacemaker technician is controlling my heart with the touch of a pen on this touch screen of the pacemaker programmer. As you can see from this picture, they have a stack of different programmers from the different vendors because they all communicate in different non-standard ways with the implants. On the screens, there are buttons for making my heart go faster, slower, or even turning off the pacing completely. The problem in my case was that the number shown on the programmer screen indicating the upper heart rate limit of my pacemaker was not the same number as the actual settings of my pacemaker. Because of this software bug in the pacemaker programmer, it took several months before they could resolve my problems. And during this time, I would get into the same feeling of exhaustion whenever I was trying to run after the bus or walk up some stairs. Basically, the pacemaker was programmed to suit the activity level of an 80-year-old patient, and it would malfunction whenever my pulse hit 160 beats per minute. They eventually figured this out, and despite the programmer bug, and today, the pacemaker works perfectly. I even finished running a half marathon last year with the pacemaker. I'm lucky, because technology saved my life. I probably would not be here today if it wasn't for the pacemaker. The decision to implant a medical device is also a risky one. But in my case, the benefit of having the device clearly outweighs the risks. On my spare time, I am volunteering for the grassroots organization I Am the Cavalry, which you heard about earlier today from Bo Woods. We are focused on issues where computer security intersect with public safety and human life. We work to improve visibility and awareness of these issues while preserving trust. We collaborate among all stakeholders and we deal with concerns to try to find a common way forward where everyone wins. Recently, we published the Hippocratic Oath for Connected Medical Devices. These are 5 steps that we want the vendors of devices to adopt to make them more secure for the future. No patients have, as far as I know, been killed due to a hacked pacemaker. But patients have been killed due to malfunction of their medical devices, configuration errors, and software bugs. In the future, many of you will lead longer and healthier life because of implanted medical devices and different types of sensors in your bodies. But this technology might also kill you if not implemented correctly. This is some research that I would like to see in the next 5 to 10 years. Because security research in the form of preemptive hacking, followed by coordinated vulnerability disclosure and vendor fixers, can help save human lives. This is why I am calling upon the technology enthusiasts among us, the hackers, the tinkerers, the doers, to do more research on medical devices and implants, to join me to hack to save lives. Thank you. Thank you.
אתה יודע, של סופטוור, לא של הארדוור, בסופטוור זה סיפור הרבה יותר פשוט.
האוזניה עצמה תזה, האוזניה היא מאובטחת.
איך היא יכולה לזהות שהמיקרופון פתוח?
יש למיקרופון...
Dr. Mo is going to be tomorrow in a hackers conference here in the university at the Fastlicht Auditorium. It's called Be Hackers TLV. So if you don't catch her today, tomorrow is another chance. Thank you again.